Good afternoon, everybody. It's wee Paddy from across the shuck, and I'm coming back at you with another wee video this morning. And as you've seen by the title, it was 2017. What did I learn? Well, I learned that don't set too many goals, because the direction of your life can change if you're a bit more open-minded. And I came into this hobby very open-minded because I nearly came in by accident. I started watching the videos long before I came in. I was a bushcrafter. I've always liked knives, but I've never thought of collecting them really. Never really wanted high-end ones. But I was happy with the ones that I had because they'd done what I needed them. They were basically a tool. And this has brought me into the hobby side of tools. And I have had the most amazing year. And I wanted to do this video today because something happened last night, which I'm going to discuss at the very end of the video. I'll get back to that anyway. But look, what I wanted to do is a run through of what happened to me. 9 months ago, I started this channel. I've got 600 odd subs. That blows my mind. The thought when I started getting 50 or 100 was just, that blew my mind. And each month has gone on. And for some reason it keeps getting bigger, and I thank you all for that. Every single one who's watched, liked or disliked, whatever you've done, if you've given me your time, I am very, very grateful. But I came into this hobby, and I'd watching the videos, and then I started to collect a couple of wee knives up. But I mean, when I started, this is what I had. This was from my bushcraft days. I used to cut my steaks and everything up with this and do camp chores with this wee open L. This served me better than most knives have ever served me. It's done now. It's not done. It's sharp, but I've got so many other knives now, but I'll still keep this. And then I found, there's a strange thing. I started off, my income isn't very good at the minute, and I'm just leaving it there. I'm not going to say it anymore. But my wife had bought me this lovely Delica because it was one of the first knives that I thought, wouldn't that be lovely to have, as a start to the collection? And thinking that I was going to go along them lines and get these lovely, because this cost me about 60 odd pound here, which is about $80. They're now about $100 here. So this was my start, and I thought, oh, what a beautiful knife. And this really excelled my want to try other knives, because I grew up in Northern Ireland, which, as most people know, I don't want to go over this story over and over, but I grew up during the Troubles in Northern Ireland. So you couldn't run about with knives because you were searched. Every shop you went into, every station, wherever you went, you were searched. So you literally couldn't, and it was a top to tail body search. So unless you were in the park just down from the house where you took your knives to play and cut, or in the woods, that's the only time you got to play with knives. Once you started to go into town, you took them out of your pocket, with soldiers all over the place. There was doormen in every door. Even going to a baby shop, you got searched, So knives weren't a big part of my life, really, other than as a wee boy in the woods with a knife. So that's the way my sort of started out. My wife had got me this knife, and I was over the moon. I think this was last Christmas too. So I was over the moon with it. And I started then. When you're on a budget, you just buy budget knives, and I'm quite happy with it. I don't have any problem with it whatsoever. And I found a company called San Remu, and I have had so many and given so many of their knives away because they're cheap, they're good quality. You can give them to kids knowing that they're getting good knives and good quality knives. And these are ones I recommend for my grandchildren. So when you're doing that, that says an awful lot about a knife company. So there was that, and then there was Ganzo. I became a Ganzo fanboy, and I still am a Ganzo fanboy. I don't know, when I first came around, everybody said, oh, don't buy them, they're clones of this. But the people who mattered in my future knife life, if you like, just said, Paddy, get what you can afford. Just get and enjoy it. Don't worry about what other people do. And I think that is the lesson I've learned, that you have to be true to who you are and what you can afford and what you can do. I don't have this over-burning desire to buy. If I was going to buy home knives, I'd be buying British. But we have a very poor selection of British knives over here. So I go over to America. An awful lot of my subs are in America, and it's where I learned everything that I've learned is from mostly Americans and some Europeans, some Canadians. I mean, all around the world, I've been blessed with people who are quite willing to watch and help me and give me encouragement. So Ganzos were a big part of and most of my collection is still Ganzos, and it's still growing because the value for money is everything. And I started, every time there was a bargain on GearBest, like this little thing, it says it's D2, it's the Gin 2, they say it's in D2. A lot of people now are saying that it's not D2. I have no idea, but I do know that it's extremely sharp and it lasts longer than most. It lasts longer than my Delicate before I have to sharpen it. So I don't know what sort of steel it is, but for me it's good. It's a beautiful knife. It literally just drops shut. So it was them sort of knives, and these were costing me, $10, $11, $12. So I was able to buy a couple a month, and your collection grows. And as your collection grows, you start to learn more about what you want, what you're looking for. And then I branched out at things like this. It's called the Land, but it's a San Remu. It's I forgot the number of it, 910 plus. What a beautiful knife. This was what I classed as an amazing knife. It's got a Sandvik steel on it, which is not a great steel. It's just what you'd get in your pen knives. It's 12C27, but it's a great worker. And it's easy to sharpen. And this is not a knife I use this knife over and over and over. This is not a keep safe. I don't have any safe queens. Well, I didn't have, and that's a wee part that we'll come back to. So I was then encouraged, why not try some of the cheaper models and see what they can come up with. And I have been blessed with a couple of people, and I'm going to start mentioning a few names now. And if I leave anybody out, I am so sorry. But Tony Meador has been like a mentor, and he has provided me with knives that I would never have got, and he has helped me with information about knives that has been just such an encouragement to find out about knives, where they're from, how they're made, what the blade steel's like, how they're sharpened. So he sent me over quite a few knives this year, and for that I'll be ever grateful. And there's other people like David Piper, there's Rye from New York, EDCC, Dale Novak, Love Them Knives channel, and people who have just helped me. Doesn't have to be financial. It can be just in encouragement. And with Stasa and Copper Dice and Jeff Jewell, there's Jimmy Slash, there's the fat man who's not on anymore now, and I miss him. There's JTs Knife Life. There's been just endless amount of people, and I know I'm not going to get through all these names, but I just wanted to know that people that give me knives and that I appreciate more than you'll ever know. For somebody to give you money off their own table is, to me, that humbles me completely, that people do that to a complete stranger, sometimes the other side of the world, you know what I mean? So for them people, I can't thank you enough. And I got to see knives, and I got more excited about knives through, like, this was a gift. This is the rake, and it's the fang, and it's the most beautiful flipping knife. And I meant that sort of flipping knife. It was my first proper flipper, and it was just, it's still one of my favourite knives, drop shot. Lovely. I got that given to me. I got this given to me, would you believe? And the Kershaw, the Gavin Hawk and Father design on this. It was my first Kershaw. Couldn't believe that I hadn't thought about Kershaws before that. I always thought, well, they're a bit cheap, and that 8CR13, again, I was being led down the wrong path a lot of times. It's a great steel. It's absolute, for what I do, it's only EDC work I do. I'm not going out cutting a cow down the town of it. I'm cutting up boxes. So 8CR13 is a great steel. It sharpens, it dulls quite quickly if you're going to do a lot of cardboard cutting. But just doing wee bits around the kitchen and out the back down at the bins, for goodness sake, it does me great, and I sharpen it up at knife. And that's another thing, like I mentioned Jeff Jewell there. I started trying to learn how to sharpen because when I got into the hobby, you get hooked. And for me, that means getting involved in every part of it. And I think my 9 months has been jumbled in trying to learn so fast. and I've learned how to sharpen on stones freehand. I've had the Spyderco rod systems. I'm now sharpening freehand with diamond stones. I've got the freehand sharpening. I just love it now. I very rarely get even my rods out anymore. I just do most of it freehand, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And then I started collecting odd knives. You know, they're not expensive, but there's a bit of history to them. You know, this is a New Zealand knife, a peasant knife. I've started doing a wee series, not which has slowed up a bit really. I got overtaken by everything that you do. I get excited. I still get a buzz. After 9 months, I'm bouncing. I'm so looking forward to 2018. And do you know what I'm looking forward to? Maybe that I could start. I'm starting to get knives that have got doubles off, and I want to start giving them away to people. And I'd sent knives over to Jimmy Slash, and the Sunday one of the postal service or whatever slashed the bottom of the bag and took all the knives out of it, and that disappointed me and disheartened me a bit. But that's life. Do you know, that's life. After Christmas, I'll sort that out and I'll give Jimmy Slash, because he's one of the nicest men in this community. He does things for people for nothing, for no gain at all, other than the fact that we know he's a nice lad. And that's what he gets out of it. Nothing, just he's a nice lad. And that's just amazing. That's amazing. So I started collecting them, and then I got this beauty here. Oh, I've got my finger on the bar. This was from Ray over in New York, and this was the oddest looking. If I could have picked a knife out of anywhere, I would never have picked this. This was never been on my radar. It was so odd. There was a recurve, there was, a flat grind at the front, there was all sorts. But it's one of my favourite shapes now, and I do use it. I love it. Absolutely. This gets used on the rod for the recurve. I'm not that good at hand sharpening, but I've only had to tickle it because I don't use it that much. It's just for about the house EDC, so that's great. So, I mean, most of the good knives that I've got have been what people have given me. Again, this is one now. I just thought this is a K-Bar Dozer, which is another reasonably priced knife from America. So I haven't stuck with all the knockoff knives, and I do have clones, and I do have knockoffs, because to me they look good, and I fancy getting to see what they're like in the hand. I'll never be able to afford the big ones. It's not as if I'm 18 or 19, I'm starting out in life. I'm about 15, I'm just coming 59, and I'm not going to get them high-end knives. Do you know what I mean? It's just not going to happen. We've got lots of kids and 22 grandchildren. It ain't going to happen. And we're getting on, and so I do buy them. I don't make apologies for buying them because I don't believe I'm ripping anybody off. Chris Reeves can come round to my wee apartment and he'll know I'm not going to buy one of his knives. I don't have the money to give away. So I could rather have 15 to 20 cheaper knives that I can play with, I can fiddle with, I can sharpen, I can take apart, and I'm not worried about them. I'm not worried if I break one. If I broke a Chris Reeves or lost a Chris Reeves, I'd cry for a week longer. But I'm starting to get these knives, and that's, next year I'll start to get more knife companies rather than the clones. I don't need clones every week that I did the first to build up. I had to build up a collection, so I use that, and I don't want to go from being a budget channel. I love finding a bargain, and I don't know whether people out there can understand that. I just love finding a bargain. Then this year, Ganzo just hit the roof with a ball bearing knife. This is my first ball bearing. They'd done it before, but I never had one. Look at this. This just blew my mind. This is Ganzo at its best, what it can be and what it can do in the future. And I'm just so glad that, look at that there. It's just madness. For you getting it for $15, delivered. You can't beat that. So I'll be sticking with Ganzo and San Remu and the likes. And I do, yes, at this one, this is to be, I haven't even reviewed this yet. This is a Murphy-owned custom. No idea who he is. It was my friend Tony Meador told me. It was a copy of a custom. But look at that for a copy. Doesn't it? It looks like it's moving. It looks like a jet stream. It is beautiful. Now, the custom apparently costs about £500. Never going to get it. Never, ever, ever. And I'm not taking money away from that man's table. But I am giving some money to some poor boy in China who's living on rice and corn, and he gets a few quid. Not as much as what he would get if he was living in America. You're right, definitely not. But he gets a few quid. If we weren't doing it, if people like me weren't doing it, what would he get? Nothing. So that's my rationalisation. I don't need any more than that. The country I live in doesn't produce good enough, budget end knives. They're below budget, most of them, to be honest. I haven't really come across any great UK makers anymore. So I know there's a lot of custom makers, and they are as good as anywhere in the world. It's just out of my budget. But this is the sort of thing that I like getting in my hand and playing with. It's all steel. It weighs about 5 ounces odds. Do you know what I mean? But it drops shut. It's on ball bearings. It cost me $16 delivered to my door. You can't beat it. So I don't want to keep on going waffling on, but I have had other gifts. I've started to do restorations. I'll leave that aside, actually. I'll come back to that. Another gift given me by a boy from my own country, David Piper, a Leatherman Pulse. It's 20-year-old and it was brand new. It hadn't been used. It is beautiful. It's the highlight of my lot of knives. It's just lovely, and I use it nearly daily. It sits by me, and I'll wear it when I'm going out, but it sits right by where I'm sitting, and I use it constantly for taking things apart. I've branched out into, I'm trying to branch out into different knives. Like these are the traditional knives. I'm trying them. And at Christmas time, I'm going to get a couple more of them and see how I fit with them. I didn't really get on with this one. I don't know why, because I'm actually getting to like it more now. It's a lovely knife from Rough Rider. Costs next to nothing. Beautifully made, proper bone, absolutely lovely. So I'm going to try that in the new year. That's a new start for me. I'm trying to get down smaller knives. I don't need any more big knives, because I have a lot of Ganzos that are a good size knife. So there's the likes of this. Now this is another knockoff from Gearbest, but I love them. S35 VN blade in titanium. Absolutely beautiful. Again, about $20. That is a stunning knife, a great worker, lovely blade. Whether it's the right blade stock, I don't know. But it's Fura, and Fura seem to be pretty good so far. I haven't seen anybody prove them wrong, but I could be wrong there. I just mightn't have seen it. And this is another little San Remo. I've gone into wee dinky ones, and I'm matching my knives to my flashlights, to pens. It's just another side of the hobby I'd never thought I would get into. I can remember giggling at somebody in the beginning when they were showing that, and now I'm doing it myself because I want to, because I've been taught that there's no boundaries. Look at this. Look at this now. Look at that for a knife. I didn't even know it was a copy. I just bought it off. I fancied the lock. I just wanted to see what the lock was like. Look at that, drop shot. I think that cost me £4 or something. Look at that. And a drop shot. Oh, it's unbelievable. So that's what I can get, and I have so much pleasure in getting something for £4, as I have with these Tucson knives that cost, so many times more than this. But I still get a lot of pleasure out of this, and I get so much pleasure out of this. Gifts gives you so much pleasure. I've been just blessed completely this year, and I can't tell you how much you've lifted me. Stasa says he uses this as therapy. This started out as therapy for me, and it has lifted me through a year where I'm still not out of the woods, to be honest with you. But if I didn't have this, I just don't know where I would be. And that's the God's honest truth, as I'm telling it now. But then last night I got something new again. It's like every month or every week sometimes I learn something, and I learn how to be humble by so many people in this community. And again, if I haven't called you out, I am so sorry. There's only so much you can do, and how long have I been waffling for? Oh, I don't know. What's that? 19 minutes, heavens above. Right, I'm gonna just finish shortly on this. I've started doing restorations. My big lad moved into an old house. His wife's granny had passed away, and this was found rusted, completely rusted all along the blade, and in a pretty poor shape. And I redone it up, put a new edge and all on it. It's now a lovely, lovely working knife again. It's an old Mora. It goes back to the 50s, so it's a real old boy. but still plenty of work left in it now. So that's what I'm starting to do. And then last night I was just watching YouTube, as you do, sitting in my chair, watching one of my favourites, which is, and I'm saying that, I've said it all along, there's not because of what he done last night. I think he's, one of the between him and LTK, Stasa, Jeff Jewell, I mean, Jimmy Slice, the ones I watch the most are the ones who have helped me, not financially, they've helped me be part of the community. They've just encouraged me to be who I am. And sometimes that's all you need in life, is somebody to say, just be who you are, you're all right. And so I was watching this video last night, and didn't JT started doing refurbs himself, or not refurbs, he started to mod knives. And I've been watching the growth of his talent this year, which has been just phenomenal, from somebody that had never done it to just completely amazing. I find him amazing. Mods, absolutely, he amazes me when he comes on and he explains and he tells everybody what he's done, and I had such joy watching his videos. And he was doing another one last night, and I thought, oh man, that is just beautiful. You've come on. So I was getting ready to think, what am I going to write down below when I'm finished about this one, because it was amazing. And he turned it over and there was 3 P's on the knife blade. Please go to his channel, JTs Knife Life. He put it up last night and he modded this knife, and then thought, I'm going to give that to Paddy. And he attached, if that's the word, 3 P's on the knife blade. I screamed like a girl for my wife to come and watch. I had genuine tears in my eyes. I was just touched that somebody would spend their time, which is every bit as important as somebody's money, if not more, you know what I mean? To just spend and give me the time that it took him to do that, to make me a knife, just blew my mind away. And I'll be forever grateful. And that knife will probably, might cut a bit of paper. That will be it. I always said I'll never have a safe queen. Well, there you are. You can get proved wrong every day of the week. On this knife channel, you can get proved wrong every day of the week. Do not be set in stone what you think it's going to be like. And if you're just around, boy, you have a lovely run ahead of you. And just get involved. Talk to people. And that's the whole thing, is comment. Get to know the people who are doing the knives, because they'll help you more than anything. And sometimes you do get people who don't like what you're doing, especially if you're a budget channel. You do get knocks and bashes along the way. But you know something? Your channel, the people, I have the best subs in the world. I keep saying it, and I genuinely mean it. They comment as much as I've ever seen anybody's channel. It's just, they're part of, and they comment between each other, which that really does get me. I love that. So JT made me this knife and he's going to send it over. I can't wait to do the review on it. I'm waiting the knives coming from LTK. The kids are buying me the rat killer. I've forgotten what it's called now. Anyway, I'm waiting on them coming. So it's an exciting year to come, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next year. So to everybody that I have mentioned, that I haven't mentioned, that I forgot, thank you so much for a wonderful year. The year's not over. I'll have a few more videos to make, but I just wanted to get this in. Last night, sometimes when you're humbled, you just have to say thank you, and that's all you can say. So that's all I can say. Thank you so much for one of the best 9 months periods in any hobby I've ever had. I've got to know some amazing people. Thank you very, very much. Bye-bye. I'm away for a big cup of tea. I've talked way too long. Take care, everybody. Have a lovely Christmas if I don't see you. Bye.